Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Mountain Harmony Gardening. I'm Kristen, and today we're going to be talking about propagating plants. Well, I may be loving the remodel, but my house plants aren't. But look behind us. Huh? Does that look good? It looks really good. We're getting so excited that we're almost done with the remodel. So I have lost several of my plants during this remodel. You can see my spider plant is mostly brown. There are some plants that are just gone completely. Look at my poor plants. So today I am going to show you what I can save, what I probably can't save, and if I can propagate it or not. The first plant that we're going to start with is the plant that I have in my office, in which is I have a spider plant in here. I have some wandering Jews. This one has gotten really long. And I also have a pothos in here too, or sorry, philodendron in here. And this has happened since the remodel. And I know I haven't been watering them as often as I need to, but I think I can save it because the inner parts of the spider plants still look pretty good. But like this one, definitely, I don't think I can save it because there's only a few green and I don't think it's worth it to save. But what I can do is I have one of the spider pups right here. And when you see it start to get like little nodules, little roots on the end, that is when they're good to start propagating. So you just go ahead and you cut it off the mother plant. And I'm going to clean up some of the dead leaves that I've got because it was starting to suffer a little bit too, but at least I got one of these. Just clean it up. And then I have a propagation station and they have these wonderful glass vials. And I broke one of them because they're actually really fragile. So all I have to do is I'm going to break off these leaves here on the bottom just so it fits. But I just have to stick that down in there till it's just touching the water, and that will grow roots. And that is the best way I have found to propagate spider plants. Now, for the wandering Jew, they grow and they grow and they vine, but most of the time it's only the tips that actually have any of the green foliage on them. So you want to kind of find a node, and let me cut this off and I'll show you. I'll come around to the camera. And each one of these joints is where the roots are going to sprout out. So I want to make sure that I have enough to stick into my propagation station, and you want to cut it off right below one of these nodes. And then you take one of these, and I don't have the other one filled with water, but I will. And you just stick it in the water and then they grow roots. As for the spider plant, the best thing that I can do for this is I'm going to have to take out, like you could see, this one was pretty much just all brown. And I'm just going to have to go ahead and I'm going to have to take it all back. But the rest of them, I think that I can go ahead and I can prune up a little bit, just take off the dead leaves. And you want to get as close to the plant as possible. See, a lot of them are really real and they're just breaking off. And then you want to clean it up. And any of the other leaves, like even in the middle, go ahead and take those out. This looks like this was one of where it was growing some of the babies. And just kind of clean it up a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean this all up, and then we're going to come back and we're going to see how it looks. The spider plant looks so much better now that I've cleaned them all up. I was also able to save a couple of the wandering Jews in here and the pothos, but this is the most dramatic that has ever gotten to where sometimes it dies back, I trim it, but usually I haven't had to take out whole entire plants in here. But I started a while ago because the wandering Jews start touching the floor and then I trim them up and I start babies. So I have a whole bunch of babies already started, and you can see they're pretty long. They really like actually being in the water. And then Sebastian has a pothos in his room, and look at the roots on that, really long. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some of this back in here to try to fill in with this one right here. And pretty soon I will have another spider baby to go ahead and plant in here, and this will fill out in no time. So luckily I was able to save it, but I kind of had a casualty. I accidentally cut my macrame hanger. Luckily, I love to do macrame, so I will just go ahead and take this apart, save the beads, and I will make myself another one. My poor philodendron, I think it's almost completely dead. There are a couple of green leaves in here that I think I might be able to save some of the plant. Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, there's one right there. So what you want to do, it's kind of like the same with the wandering Jew. You'll find their little nodes, and you'll actually even see some roots growing out there. So you want to go ahead, and I know that these are a little bit deeper, so I need actually a couple of these to get actually into the water. So I just go ahead and trim that off, and then you just stick it in the propagation station. Yeah, I don't know about that one. That one's kind of a little bit on a funny side, but the rest of this plant, I think, has had it. So I will at least get this plant restarted from that, but I'll probably go ahead and put it into another planter with some other pothos or philodendron in it. But yeah, this plant in particular did not like being moved for the remodel. Now, the next two plants that we're going to talk about are my shamrock here, and then this plant. I can never remember the name, and I keep on calling it arrow plant. I know that's not right. I'll have to look it up, and I'll put the name on the screen for you guys. But it was down to one leaf, and the other two leaves, or 3 leaves, died. And I was like, no, please, I don't want to lose another plant. But luckily, I started watering a lot and kind of babying it a little more. Look at that. We've got a new leaf coming back. So what I'm going to do with this one is just go ahead and trim off the dead leaves and then keep babying it, because I can see that it's going to sprout quite a few more leaves in here, and hoping that it will come back completely. But with shamrocks, I have noticed that they actually need a rest when they start looking like this. So I just trim them off. Been doing this for probably about 20 years, and just trim them. And then sometimes I will stick them in the back of the closet, but here it's pretty dark in the house. So I just go ahead and set them back on the shelf, and then they will completely reset themselves. They just kind of need a rest every once in a while. So luckily with these two, it's not too much of maintenance that I need to do. The next plant that we're going to talk about is the bromeliad. I know some people call them bromeliads, but it's bromeliad. At least that's how we pronounced it when I was a florist. So these plants will have mother plants, and then they will get little pups that grow off of the sides. So most people look at this and think, oh my goodness, the plant is dead. But actually, it's not, because it has little babies right here. This is actually a 3rd generation. So I had a mama plant in here, and then I had these ones grow off, and now I have these 2 growing, and look at that. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it off here at the bottom, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And I will probably go ahead and get another plant, another bromeliad, and put it in here just to kind of fill up the space, because these 2 didn't get quite as big as the mom plant was originally. Yeah, she's back here. I can still feel where she was at. But I'm going to go ahead and get another one and put another one back here to kind of fill this in. But these are fantastic. If you ever see the little pups, just be aware that the mama plant's eventually going to die back, but you will have babies that will sprout from it. This is my planter that I had outside with all the coleus in it, and it was doing fantastic outside. But since I brought it in and it's not getting the same light that it used to, it has slowly started to die back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to propagate some of these, because some of them are really pretty and I want to save them as much as I can. So kind of like the same thing, you want to go down, you want to find where there's a node, and you want to cut right below that. So just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and take a few, plus, you know what also is in this soil? Fungus gnats. And if you've watched my most popular video, the dreaded fungus gnat. I do not want to be going through that again this year. So I decided that that's another reason why I should probably go ahead and take this out. But I also have a friend who has specifically said that they want some of these babies once I get them started. So I'm going to go ahead and take all of these down, and I'm going to stick them in water just like I did with the spider plant and with the wandering Jew, and also with the pothos or the philodendrons. You can do that too. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now I have all of the ones that I want saved. The next step that you actually need to do is you need to take off all of the large leaves. You only want to leave a few of them on top. And also one of these, which one was it? One of these is flowering. Oh, there it is. So there's some spent flowers at the top. So you just want to go ahead and trim those off too. And then I'm going to take off most of these leaves and then stick them in water. And I'm having to do a big cup because there are a lot of them. So just remove the leaves. I know that this looks kind of sad because there's only going to be a few leaves at top. And if you have a propagation station that's shorter than what I have, then you can go ahead and make these a lot shorter. Some people have some really cool stations I've seen on TV. So that is what you do to save your coleus. I am so glad I could at least save some of my plants, and I had some propagating to kind of take over with some of the plants that died back, and I'm going to definitely get another plant. And Donnie just said that I should probably get another propagation station that has all three of them in it to replace this one or to add on, because I am always doing this. I had so many this last time I had to put it in a different container. So I hope this was informative for you, that sometimes you have to let your plants go, but sometimes they are worth saving. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Happy gardening, everyone.